Picture this. I'm standing in the half-shadow of our living room, the hum of a distant street lamp filtering through the blinds, casting slanted lines across a pile of laundry I'm folding with mechanical precision. My name is Claire, and at 38, I've become a curator of sameness, a keeper of routines so ingrained they might as well be etched into the walls of this modest suburban home. The socks I'm pairing up are Martens, always black, always ankle length, always bought in bulk from the same warehouse store. I could fold them in my sleep, and sometimes I think I do. My husband of over a decade, Martin, is a good man, steady as the tick of a clock, but that's just it. Our life together is a clock, always circling back to the same hour, the same minute, the same second. Every Christmas, I know what's waiting under the tree before I even peel back the wrapping paper. It's a scented candle. Lavender or vanilla, doesn't matter. From that little boutique on Main Street he's been going to since our 3rd anniversary. I smile, say thank you, and place it on the mantel next to the others, a growing collection of unspoken predictability. Every night, as we climb into bed, he turns to me, his voice a flat line, and mutters, "Good night, hon," before rolling over to his side, the mattress barely shifting under his weight. I lie there, staring at the ceiling, counting the cracks I've memorized over the years. Even the rare moments we reach for each other, seeking some flicker of connection, feel like a script we've rehearsed too many times. His hands move in the same patterns, my responses are the same half-hearted echoes, and when it's over, we're just two people lying side by side, strangers in the same bed. I've never said a word about it, though. Not to him, not to anyone. I've swallowed the restlessness, tucked it away behind a smile, and played the part of the content wife. It's easier that way, isn't it? To accept this as my life, to believe that this is all there is. I tell myself that love doesn't have to burn bright to keep you warm. That companionship is enough, even if it's quiet, even if it's dull. But sometimes, in moments like this, with the laundry basket at my feet and the silence of the house pressing in, I wonder, is there more? Could there be something beyond the edges of this well-worn path I've walked for so long? The living room is dim, the single lamp on the side table casting a weak glow over the faded couch cushions, and the coffee table cluttered with bills and half-read magazines. Time has dulled everything here, not just us. The walls are a muted beige, the kind of color you pick when you've stopped caring about making a statement. The carpet is threadbare in spots, worn down by years of the same footsteps, mine and Martin's, pacing the same tired loops day after day. I'm lost in that thought, the monotony of it all, when I hear the front door creak open. Martin's home, earlier than usual, his footsteps heavier, almost urgent, as they cross the threshold. I glance up from the laundry, expecting the usual mumbled greeting, but instead, he's standing there in the doorway to the kitchen, holding a crisp white envelope in his hand, his face lit with something I haven't seen in years, excitement. My hands pause mid-fold, a sock dangling from my fingers, as he gestures for me to join him. "Claire, come here. You've got to see this," he says, his voice brighter than I've heard it in ages. I set the laundry aside and follow him to the kitchen table, the worn wooden surface scratched and stained from a decade of hurried meals and spilled coffee. He sits down, motioning for me to take the chair across from him, and slides the envelope toward me like it's some kind of treasure. "I won," he says, grinning, his eyes wide with a boyish kind of glee. "A raffle. I entered on a whim at the hardware store last week, and I actually won." I raise an eyebrow, skeptical, picking up the envelope and turning it over in my hands. It's heavier than I expected, the paper thick and embossed with some fancy gold lettering. "Won what, exactly?" I ask, half expecting it to be a coupon for a free car wash or something equally mundane. But then he leans in, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "It's an invitation, an exclusive art event in the city. They want us, both of us, to be part of it. Models for a performance," it says. I can't help it. A laugh bursts out of me, sharp and incredulous. I picture us standing stiffly in some pretentious gallery, surrounded by people in black turtlenecks sipping overpriced wine, while we try not to look completely out of place. Us? Models? Martin, come on. We're not exactly the artsy type, I say, shaking my head. But he doesn't laugh. He just looks at me, his expression so earnest it catches me off guard. His hands clasp together on the table and he leans closer, his eyes searching mine with an intensity I'm not used to seeing. Claire, I'm serious. I want to do this. I want us to do this. Together. I'm tired of just existing. Don't you ever feel like we're stuck? Like we're just going through the motions? This could be something different, something bold. His words hit me like a gust of cold air, sharp and unexpected. I open my mouth to protest, to say that we're fine, that we don't need to chase after some weird art thing to feel alive. But I stop myself. Because deep down, I know he's right. I've felt it too, that ache for something more, something to break the endless loop of our days. So, I nod. A little hesitant, but willing to step into the unknown if it means seeing that spark in Martin's eyes stay alive a little longer. A few days later, we're in the city, walking hand in hand toward an old grand theater with a marquee so faded I can barely make out the letters. The air is crisp, carrying the faint scent of rain and exhaust, and I feel a nervous flutter in my chest as we push through the heavy double doors into a world that feels so far from our own. Inside, the theater is a cavern of shadows and echoes, the kind of place that seems to hold 1,000 forgotten stories in its creaking bones. The lobby is all faded grandeur, peeling gold leaf on the walls, a chandelier draped in cobwebs, and a threadbare red carpet that muffles our steps. I squeeze Martin's hand, feeling like an intruder in this strange, otherworldly space, but he just gives me a reassuring smile, his excitement still palpable. Then, from behind a velvet rope, a figure emerges, moving with a kind of effortless grace that immediately draws my attention. He introduces himself as Ethan, the young curator of this event, and I can't help but notice how striking he is. Late 20s, sharp cheekbones, dark hair falling just over his piercing green eyes. He's dressed in a black turtleneck and jeans, the kind of casual confidence that screams artist, and there's an intensity in the way he looks at me, a gaze so direct it makes my skin prickle with unease. Ethan shakes our hands, his grip lingering on mine a fraction too long, and then he gestures for us to follow him deeper into the theater. His voice is smooth, almost hypnotic, as he talks about the performance, something about capturing raw human emotion. But I'm only half listening. My focus is on the way he moves, the way his presence seems to fill every corner of this ancient space. We weave through a maze of backstage corridors, past heavy velvet curtains that brush against my shoulder like whispers, and dusty mirrors that catch fragments of light, reflecting distorted versions of myself back at me. The air grows thicker, musty with the scent of old fabric and forgotten dreams, and I feel a strange mix of anticipation and dread building in my chest. At some point, Martin excuses himself to find a restroom, his voice echoing down the hallway as he promises to be right back. I'm left alone with Ethan, and he leads me into a small dressing room, tucked away behind a row of costumes. The space is dimly lit, a single bulb casting a soft, amber glow over a cracked vanity mirror and a scattering of old makeup brushes. The door clicks shut behind us, and suddenly the atmosphere shifts, growing heavy with something I can't quite name. Ethan steps closer, his presence overwhelming in the confined space, and I feel my breath catch as he looks at me with those piercing eyes, like he can see straight through the walls I've built around myself. His voice drops low, deliberate, as he reaches for my hands, his grip firm yet strangely gentle. Your husband wants you to be real. Here, now, he says, and the words hang in the air, confusing and charged with meaning I don't understand. My heart is racing, pounding so hard I'm sure he can hear it, and I open my mouth to ask what he means, to demand clarity, but before I can form the words, his fingers brush against my cheek, tracing a slow, deliberate path down to my neck. I should step back, should pull away, but I'm frozen, caught in the intensity of his gaze, in the heat of his touch. Then, in a moment that feels both surreal and inevitable, his lips graze my collarbone, a feather-light touch that sends a jolt through me, waking up parts of myself I thought had long gone dormant. I don't move. I can't. After years of numbness, of feeling nothing but the weight of routine, this rush of sensation is like a tidal wave, crashing over me and pulling me under. My skin burns where he touched me, my pulse hammering in my ears, and for a fleeting second, I let myself drown in it. But then reality snaps me back, sharp and cold as a slap. What am I doing? This isn't me. I'm Claire, the woman who folds laundry in the dark, who smiles through the monotony, who's built a life with Martin on the foundation of predictability. I jerk away from Ethan, my hands trembling as if they've betrayed me just as much as my heart has. My fingers fumble to adjust the neckline of my dress, pulling it back into place, as if straightening the fabric could somehow straighten out the mess I've just made of everything. I can't look at him. I don't dare. His presence still looms, heavy and suffocating, but he doesn't say a word. He just stands there, watching me with an expression I can't read. Part curiosity, part something darker, something I don't want to name. I stumble backward, my heel catching on the edge of a costume trunk, and I nearly lose my balance. My breath is ragged, my chest tight, as I mumble something incoherent. An apology, an excuse. I don't even know. I just need to get out of this room, away from the amber glow and the cracked mirror that seems to mock me with my own flushed reflection. I push past the door, not waiting for a response, and spill into the backstage area, the cool air hitting my face like a splash of water. But it doesn't clear my head. My mind is a storm, a chaotic swirl of guilt and confusion that threatens to pull me under. How could I let this happen? How could I let myself feel something so raw, so wrong, when I've spent years convincing myself I didn't need to feel anything at all? What does this mean for my marriage, for the life I've built with Martin? Every question is a weight, piling on top of me until I feel like I can't breathe. The backstage is a labyrinth of shadows, the heavy velvet curtains swaying slightly as if moved by unseen hands. I hear distant footsteps and muffled voices echoing from the direction of the auditorium, a reminder that the world is still turning, that this event, this strange, surreal performance, is still happening around me. I can't stay here, hiding in the dark like a coward. I need to find Martin. I need to see him, to look into his eyes and figure out what to say, how to explain, or maybe how to bury this moment so deep he'll never suspect a thing. But the thought of facing him makes my stomach churn. What if he can see it on me? What if guilt is written all over my face, as clear as the lipstick I'm sure is smudged from where Ethan's lips brushed my skin? I weave through the curtains, my hands brushing against the rough fabric, my footsteps unsteady on the uneven floorboards. As I move, I catch glimpses of other performers scattered throughout the space, their faces painted in stark whites and blacks, transforming them into ghostly figures under the dim backstage lights. Their eyes are hollow, their expressions blank, as if they've stepped out of some eerie, silent film. One woman, her face half covered in a mime's mask, tilts her head as I pass, her gaze lingering on me for a moment too long. It sends a shiver down my spine, adding to the surreal haze that settled over everything. This place, this theater, feels like a dream I can't wake up from, a nightmare where every shadow hides a secret, every face a judgment. My heart is pounding so hard it feels like it might crack my ribs as I finally emerge from the backstage maze into the auditorium. The vast space stretches out before me, rows of empty seats cloaked in darkness, the stage looming like a silent judge. And there, in the front row, I see him. Martin. He's sitting there, his posture relaxed, almost casual, a tablet resting on his lap. The sight of him, so unaware, so normal, makes my throat tighten. I want to run to him, to collapse into his arms and pretend none of this ever happened. I want to rewind time, to go back to folding laundry in our quiet, predictable home, where the biggest betrayal was forgetting to. I stand there, rooted to the spot at the edge of the auditorium, my eyes locked on Martin. The tablet on his lap glows faintly, casting an eerie light across his face, and I can't tell if he's seen me yet. My legs feel like they're made of lead, each step toward him a battle against the storm raging inside me. Guilt claws at my chest, sharp and relentless. But there's something else too, a gnawing fear of what he might already know. What if he saw? What if someone told him? My mind races with possibilities, each one more suffocating than the last. As I force myself to move forward, the creak of the old wooden floor beneath my feet, sounding louder than it should in the cavernous silence of the theater. As I get closer, I see the flicker of movement on the tablet screen, and my stomach drops. It's not just some random video or notes for the performance, it's me. It's that moment in the dressing room, captured in stark, unforgiving detail. Ethan's hand on my cheek, the way I froze, the way I didn't pull away fast enough. My breath catches, a choked gasp that I can't suppress, and Martin's head snaps up. Our eyes meet, and for a split second, I think I see a flash of something, hurt, anger, betrayal, but it's gone as quickly as it came, replaced by an unreadable calm that unnerves me even more. I open my mouth, desperate to say something, anything, to explain or apologize or beg for forgiveness, but the words stick in my throat like shards of glass. Before I can force them out, Martin raises a hand, a silent command to stop. His gesture is slow, deliberate, and it freezes me in place, my heart hammering so hard I'm sure he can hear it from where he sits. Then, in a voice so low it's almost a whisper, he speaks, and his words send a chill straight through me, colder than anything I've ever felt. We're not done yet. This is just the prologue. His lips curve into a smile, but it's not the warm, familiar one I've known for over a decade. It's wider, sharper, laced with a strange, almost triumphant satisfaction that makes my skin crawl. I stare at him, trying to reconcile this man with the one I've shared a bed with, a life with. But in this moment, he feels like a stranger. My mind reels, grasping for meaning in his words, in that smile. Prologue? What does he mean by that? What could possibly come after this, after the raw, humiliating exposure of my weakest moment? And then it hits me, like a punch to the gut, stealing what little breath I have left. He's not surprised. He's not even angry, not in the way I expected. There's a part of me that wonders if he knew this would happen, if he somehow set the stage for it. The art performance, the invitation, bringing me here to this decaying theater, it wasn't just about breaking our routine or posing for some avant-garde painting. It was about something deeper, something darker. It was about peeling back the layers I've so carefully constructed, exposing the raw, unfiltered mess of emotions I've buried for years. And I was the centerpiece, the unwitting star of this twisted show. I glance at the tablet again, the loop of my indiscretion playing on repeat, and I realize with a sickening clarity that this isn't just for him. The way the footage is framed, the angle, it's too precise, too polished. Someone was watching. Someone was recording. This wasn't a private moment caught by accident. It was meant to be seen, streamed or shared with an audience I can't even fathom. My face burns with shame, my hands clenching into fists at my sides as I fight the urge to snatch the tablet and smash it against the nearest wall. But I don't. I can't. Because Martin's gaze holds me captive, anchoring me to this spot, to this moment, as if I'm still part of the performance. The theater around us feels different now, no longer just a backdrop but a stage in its own right. I'm sitting next to Martin now, the weight of the night pressing down on me like a heavy fog, the old theater's air conditioning humming in the background, a low, constant drone that fills the silence between us. The auditorium is still dark, the rows of empty seats stretching out into the shadows, and the stage looms ahead, bare and silent, like it's waiting for the next act to unfold. I can feel Martin's presence beside me, steady and unreadable, his hands resting loosely on the armrests of his chair. That tablet is off now, tucked away somewhere out of sight, but the images it held are burned into my mind, replaying over and over like a relentless loop I can't escape. I keep waiting for the wave of regret to hit me, for the crushing weight of what I've done to slam into my chest and leave me gasping. I brace myself for it, expecting to drown in guilt, to feel the sharp sting of betrayal, not just mine, but ours. But it doesn't come. Instead, there's this strange electric hum inside me, a feeling I haven't known in years. It's like I've been asleep for a decade, numb and drifting through the motions, and now, suddenly, I'm awake. My skin still tingles where Ethan touched me. My heart still races when I think about that moment in the dressing room, the forbidden rush of it all. I liked it. I liked the danger, the way it tore through the monotony of my life like a jagged blade, cutting away the dullness and leaving something raw and real in its place. I search for shame, for some shred of remorse as I sit here, but it's not there. What I find instead is a startling clarity, a realization that creeps up on me slowly, then all at once. I don't regret it, not even a little, not even as I steal a glance at Martin, whose face is half lit by the faint glow of an exit sign, his expression calm, almost curious, like he's waiting to see what I'll do next, what I'll say. I shift in my seat, the worn velvet cushion creaking under me, and I let my mind wander back through the night, piecing it together like a puzzle I'm only just starting to understand. The invitation, the theater, Ethan's intense gaze, the way Martin's voice dropped when he called this a prologue. It all feels orchestrated, like every step was part of a script I didn't know I was reading. And yet, sitting here, I don't feel manipulated. I feel liberated, like a door I didn't even know existed has been flung wide open, and beyond it is a world I've never dared to imagine. Our marriage, the life we've built, it's not what it was. I can't pretend it is. But maybe, just maybe, it's something better. Not the safe, predictable partnership we've clung to for so long, but something untamed, something honest in its messiness, something that doesn't shy away from the edges of who we really are. Martin hinted at a next scene, a next chapter in this bizarre, unfolding drama we've stumbled into, or maybe walked into willingly. His words echo in my head, that sharp, knowing smile of his lingering like a ghost. We're not done yet. I turn them over, examining them from every angle, and I feel a flicker of anticipation, not dread. What could come next? What does he have planned in this strange new script we're writing together? My fingers tap lightly on the armrest, a nervous rhythm as I consider the possibilities. I've spent so long avoiding risk, smoothing over every rough edge of my life until it was as flat and featureless as a blank page. But now, I want to write on it. I want to fill it with bold, messy strokes. Consequences be damned. And as I sit here, lost in that thought, a name floats to the surface of my mind, unbidden but undeniable. Someone I've known for years, someone I've always wondered about, Someone whose presence has lingered at the edges of my thoughts in quiet moments I've never admitted to anyone. I've always kept them at a distance. But now, as the realization dawns, I know it's time to reach out and see where this long overdue connection might lead. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.